2 zippers, 3 sliders, 2 zipper end caps, 1 strap adjuster, 2 swivel hooks, strap, 4 eyelets, 2 magnetic snap buttons with washers, fabric, 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 twice, base, fabric, fabric, twice, lining, lining, fabric, 3 times, base piece, fabric structured with cotton, lining twice, fabric structured with cotton, lining twice, 2 fabric pieces structured with cotton, on the fabric pieces, mark the center along the length on both pieces. Apply contact glue over the entire surface and let it dry. On the fabric piece, find the center lengthwise. Apply contact glue over the entire surface and let it dry. On the fabric pieces, find the center of both pieces. Apply contact glue over the entire surface of both pieces and let it dry. On the fabric piece where we applied glue first, fold both edges toward the marked center. Repeat the process on the remaining pieces, always folding the edges toward the center. If you have one available, use a small roller over the fabric pieces for a better finish. On the fabric piece, find the center on the side. Make a centered marking from the center mark, positioned along the side. Make a second centered marking like the first one, positioned along the side. Join the 2 markings. Using a craft knife, cut precisely along the markings. On the wrong side of the fabric, place double-sided tape along the opening. Place the zipper slider onto the zipper. Attach the zipper to the double-sided tape placed earlier. Place a second strip of double-sided tape over the zipper, right along the edge. Align the side of the lining with the zipper over the tape placed earlier. Place the second side over the other side. Once the lining is well aligned, cut where it folds. Set aside. On the fabric piece, make a mark from the side. Repeat the process on the opposite side, making another mark. Place double-sided tape on the inside of the marking, along the line. Repeat on the second marking. Place the fabric piece aligned with the marking over the double-sided tape. Place the second fabric piece with the same measurements over the second marking. If you have a roller, use it, or you can also use a hammer, sew 2 stitch lines to secure both glued fabric pieces. Take the fabric piece with the zipper that was set aside earlier. Start sewing on the side, then sew along the length, and finish on the other side. Remove the zipper from the fabric and, with the lining attached to the zipper, sew along the zipper. Attach the zipper back onto the fabric. Separate the lining, placing one part up and the other down, and sew along the zipper, joining the previous stitch line. Fold the fabric and sew along the side of the lining and zipper, the bottom of the lining, and the side, joining the zipper and lining. The lining should be shorter than the fabric, so remove the excess. On the fabric piece, mark from both ends. Fold the end of the zipper, open the zipper teeth, fold them, join the nylon ends, and use a lighter to melt and seal them together. Repeat on both ends of the zipper. Align the zipper on the fabric, starting at the mark and ending at the mark on the opposite end. Align the lining and sew all around. The zipper excess should be moved to the side so it is not sewn. Turn the lining right side out and top stitch over the lining. On the fabric piece set aside earlier, align it with the fabric strip sewn earlier. Place the right side of the fabric against the right side of the other fabric and sew all around. Turn right side out and top stitch the seam. Set aside. On the fabric piece, make a mark from the side on both opposite ends. Remove the second zipper tape and align it with the fabric, starting the stitch at the mark and sewing up to the opposite mark. Place the lining aligned with the side where the zipper was sewn. Sew the lining all around, moving the zipper excess aside so it's not sewn. Turn the lining right side out and top stitch the seam. On the fabric strips, fold one in half and sew. Repeat the process on the second one. Fold in half and sew 2 stitch lines lengthwise. Seal all thread ends. On the fabric piece, make a mark on the sides. Near the markings on the inside, place double-sided tape at the beginning and at the end. On the side, mark next to the previous markings. Take the fabric strips that were set aside and place the ends on the side where the marks were made. Attach them to the double-sided tape. Sew up to the marking. Right after the stitch, leave the fabric strips loose, about 2 fingers wide, with an approximate distance. Attach them to the remaining double-sided tape, aligned with the marking. Mark on the side next to the marking where the fabric strip is aligned. Sew from the mark to where the fabric strips were fixed. Repeat the same process on the other side. Near the markings on the inside, place double-sided tape at the beginning and at the end. On the side, mark next to the previous markings. Right after the stitch, leave the fabric strips loose, about 2 fingers wide, with an approximate distance. Attach them to the remaining double-sided tape, aligned with the marking. Then sew from the side marking to where the loose strip is. On the fabric piece, sew 2 stitch lines lengthwise. Fold it in half and mark the center. Place the ends around the loose strap loops. Sew the joined ends together. On the wrong side of the fabric piece, make a mark on 3 sides. Apply contact glue along the marked edges and let it dry. Fold the edges up to the marking. cut off the excess corners. This fabric piece will be used to finish the hand strap. Start by aligning the unfolded side with the fabric strip, and sew. Fold the fabric over the strip, covering all the previous stitches, and use clips to help hold it in place. Sew to secure it permanently. Seal all thread ends. Place the fabric piece where we made the pocket aligned with the fabric piece with the hand strap, right sides together, and sew. Turn right side out and top stitch. On the fabric pieces where we sewed the zippers, align the linings and the zippers, then insert the zipper slider. Sew the side to join the fabric, but do not sew the zipper. Sew the sides. On the fabric piece, make a mark from both ends. On the last fabric piece, do the same, marking from the ends. Fold the zipper end by opening the zipper teeth, folding them to the side, and using heat to melt the nylon so it joins and stays fixed. Do this on both ends, and align it lengthwise along the fabric. Sew from mark to mark. Open the zipper and align it with the other fabric piece. Sew from mark to mark. Set aside. Align the two fabric sets and sew the sides. Align the seams, and then sew. Turn the piece right side out. On the excess fabric sections, mark each one. Make a hole on the markings, right in the center of the fabric pieces. Place the male part of the magnetic snap button with the washer on the markings. I used small tools, but you can use a machine to apply rivets. check how the piece falls. Place the second part of the magnetic snap button and press so it marks the fabric. Make a hole on the marking. Place the female part of the magnetic snap button, add the washer, and close it. Turn the piece right side out and set aside. On the fabric, round the corners. On the lining with the same measurements. Round the corners with the same radius. Cut the lining along the markings. On the fabric, find the center of the sides. Then cut along the markings. Place the base of the piece, aligning the center markings of the sides with the seams, and secure it. Sew all around. Sew the lining and the fabric, closing the pocket. Turn the piece right side out. On the zipper excess, seal the nylon and place the end cap. On the lining, find the center. On the lining, fold it in half and sew two sides. Leave an opening on one of the longer sides to turn it right side out. Place the fabric piece over the open side and sew. Turn right side out and top stitch. Place the pocket centered from the base and secure it with masking tape. Sew three sides of the pocket so that the opening of the pocket remains on the fabric side. Seal all thread ends. Place the fabric pieces with the zipper aligned with the side opposite the side where the pocket was placed, and sew. Do not sew the zipper excess. On the second fabric piece with the zipper, align it with the second lining. Do not sew the zipper excess. Turn right side out and top stitch. Also top stitch the seam on the previous lining. Align the fabric pieces and the linings, and sew at the beginning. At the end of the side, sew again, leaving an opening to turn the piece right side out. Sew the other side completely. On the rounded lining, find the center of the long side and the center of the short side. Align the center of the short side with the side seams and secure it, aligning all around. Sew all around. Place the zipper excess from the body of the piece toward the inside. Place the piece inside the lining. Align the fabric pieces at the same height on the piece and secure them. Align the seams well. Sew all around. The fabric tabs with the magnetic snap buttons should stay inside. Turn the piece right side out through the opening in the lining. Place the lining inside the piece, shape it well, and top stitch the previous seam. Seal the ends of the straps. Insert the end through the strap adjuster. Fold it. Then fold again around the movable bar and sew. Add the swivel hook. Pass the other end of the strap through the adjuster. Then pass it through the swivel hook. Fold it, fold again, and sew. seal all thread ends. At the level of the hand strap, use a hole punch to make holes through both layers of fabric. Place the eyelets in the holes and secure them with the proper tools. You should place 4 eyelets. The eyelets should not catch the lining. You can do this through the opening in the lining. The swivel hooks go into the eyelets.